Okay, so today we're diving deep into something I think we all deal with, and that's procrastination when it comes to those household chores,
Mm-hmm.
the ones that never seem to go away.
Yeah.
We're looking at a DigyKeys article called What Happens When You Procrastinate on Household Chores?
Okay.
And it was updated in January 2025.
Hmm.
Even just reading that title makes me think I need to clean something.
Right. It's one of those things, we all joke about procrastination, but this article really dives into it.
Yeah.
Like beyond just having a messy house, it even goes into health hazards and relationships.
Right, and it's kind of like, we know we should be keeping things clean, but then life happens and all of a sudden the dishes and laundry are piling up.
Right.
So how common is this problem?
So the article actually mentions a UK study that found 75% of people admit to putting off chores.
Wow.
So if you're listening and you're like, yep, that's me,
Yeah,
you are not alone.
that does make me feel better.
Yeah.
Okay, so the dishes, laundry vacuuming, taking out the trash, are those the big ones?
Those are definitely the ones that were mentioned.
Okay.
Makes you wonder why we put those off the most, Some of them are just not pleasant to do,
Right.
but is there something more to it?
And the article dives into that.
Yeah.
It's not just the mess, it's the consequences of letting things pile up.
Exactly. And some of them get pretty serious.
Right.
Like the article even talks about potential health hazards.
Hmm.
Mold dust, allergens, and bacteria can build up if we're not careful. And there's also been research about how clutter can increase cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone.
Oh, wow.
It's not just what your house looks like, it really can impact your well-being.
Yeah, it's almost like your home is a reflection of what's going on inside you.
Hmm.
And the article also touches on how procrastination can impact relationships too.
Definitely. I mean, chore disagreements can cause so much tension.
Oh, yeah?
Whether it's feeling like you're always the one cleaning up or arguing over whose turn it is to do what.
Right.
And then you have the mental load of remembering, planning, and delegating.
Oh, the mental load is the worst.
Yeah.
It's like an invisible weight you carry around.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not balanced in a relationship, it can lead to resentment.
Absolutely.
There are some stats on this, right?
Yeah, there's a report from Relationship Scotland that said 15% of people report chores as a source of strain in their relationship.
Wow.
And for parents with young children, that number jumps to 32%.
Oh my gosh.
It really shows how it's not just about being tidy, it's about fairness, shared responsibility,
Right.
and how those things make up a healthy relationship.
It's like your actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
But beyond just arguing with your partner or roommates, doesn't procrastination take a toll on you personally?
Definitely. When you have all those chores piling up, you start feeling guilty and ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
You should be doing them, and it can hurt your self-esteem.
I've totally been there.
Yeah.
It's like a vicious cycle.
Mhm.
You feel bad about the mess, so you avoid it, which just makes you feel worse.
And then you get so overwhelmed that you don't even know where to start.
Yeah, you just get stuck.
It's decision fatigue. Your brain just shuts down.
It really does. So we've talked about how procrastination is more than a messy house.
Right.
It impacts our health relationships, even our minds.
Uh-huh.
But the article gives us some hope.
Yeah.
It doesn't just leave us to drown in guilt.
It gives us tools.
What are some of those strategies?
One that I thought was interesting was the Pomodoro technique.
I've heard of that. I've used it for work projects, but never thought to use it for chores.
It works because it uses our natural attention spans.
Okay,
So you set a timer for 25 minutes of focused work, and then you take a 5-minute break.
got it.
And then you repeat that.
So say I have a ton of laundry I've been putting off.
Mm-hmm.
How would I use the Pomodoro technique for that? Would I just set a timer and fold clothes for 25 minutes?
You could definitely do that, but to make it even more effective, you could break the task down even more.
Okay.
So instead of do laundry, it's 25 minutes of sorting clothes.
Okay.
And then you take a break, and then maybe 25 minutes of washing.
So it's like tricking your brain into thinking you're making progress.
Exactly. You get those little wins, and they can really add up.
I like that. And what about within those 25 minutes?
You can break it down even further into micro tasks.
Sure.
So instead of clean the kitchen, it's wipe down the counters,
Uh-huh.
then load the dishwasher, and then sweep the floor.
So we've got the Pomodoro technique and breaking things down into smaller steps.
Right.
What else does the article say?
Another important thing is to make a routine.
Oh.
So instead of just letting chores pile up, you assign certain days for certain tasks. Like Mondays are for laundry, Tuesdays are for cleaning the bathroom.
I like that.
It takes the guesswork out of it.
It's like you're creating structure and predictability,
Right.
which can be really helpful for people who are feeling overwhelmed.
Exact.
And to make it even better, You could use an app or a shared calendar to keep track of everything,
That's a great idea.
especially if you live with other people.
Yeah.
Keeps everyone accountable and makes sure nothing gets forgotten.
Mm-hmm. It's all about working together.
But how do we actually motivate ourselves to get started? When procrastination has taken over.
Well, the article has a really interesting solution.
Okay,
A reward system.
a reward system.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be anything big.
Okay.
Just a little something to give yourself some positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if I clean the bathroom, I can relax with a cup of tea and my favorite book.
So you can actually enjoy it and not feel guilty.
Exactly.
I think it helps to picture how good it'll feel when it's all done, too.
Yeah.
Like imagine walking into a clean, organized room.
Oh, yeah.
It's like all the stress just disappears.
Visualization is so powerful.
Mhm.
And the article talks a lot about the good things that happen when we stay on top of our chores.
Okay, so what are those benefits?
Well, one of the big ones is mental clarity.
Okay.
When our space is cluttered, it's like our minds get cluttered too.
Right.
But when everything is tidy, our minds are free to be creative, to solve problems, even just to relax.
That's like that saying outer order, inner calm.
I can't focus if my desk is a mess.
Uh-huh.
It's just too distracting.
And when you can focus better and you're not surrounded by all that clutter, you're less stressed too.
That's a huge one.
Definitely stress is bad for everything. Our
Mm.
sleep, our immune system.
Right.
So keeping our homes tidy can actually help us be healthier.
And we talked about how arguing over chores can hurt our relationships.
Yeah.
But when we do the chores without being asked, doesn't that make things better?
The article says that when things are fair and we're proactive about chores, it creates a feeling of teamwork,
Okay.
and that makes our relationship stronger.
It's like you're saying, I love you by doing the dishes.
Right. It's about those little things that show you care.
There was one more benefit in the article that I didn't expect.
How was that?
Increased productivity.
Yeah.
I would have thought that doing chores would make you less productive because it takes away time from other things.
I thought that too.
Yeah.
But the article says that when your space is clean and organized, you're less distracted.
Which makes you more focused and efficient.
Like when I clear off my desk before a big project.
Exactly.
I feel so much more ready to work.
It's all about setting yourself up for success.
So we've got less stress, better health, stronger relationships, and we're even more productive.
It really shows you that taking care of those chores is about more than just a clean house.
Yeah, it's an investment in your well-being.
Exactly.
I have a question for our listeners.
Okay.
If you could magically have one chore always done on time, which one would it be and why?
That's a good one. It really makes you think about what's important to you.
Right. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the surprisingly complex world of procrastination and household chores.
Wow. Who knew chores could be so deep?
We hope you learned some helpful things today.
Yeah, and that you feel more confident about tackling those chores.
And don't forget to check out DigyKeys.com.
They have tons of resources, including a guide called Conquer Procrastination.
And be sure to subscribe to The Deep Dive for more deep dives into interesting topics that affect our lives.
We'll see you next time. It's amazing to think about how much our environment actually affects us, mentally and emotionally.
Yeah, it's like our homes are a part of us.
Uh-huh.
So when we don't take care of them, it's almost like we're not taking care of ourselves.
And the good news is we can totally change that. We don't have to be stuck in this cycle of procrastination and feeling overwhelmed. The article gave us a lot of good strategies to deal with those chores,
Yeah.
like the Pomodoro technique, breaking things down, making a routine,
Right.
using an app or a calendar, and even that reward system.
I think what I like most about those strategies is that they can work for other things too,
Oh, definitely.
not just chores.
Yeah.
It's like changing your mindset from avoiding stuff to feeling like you can do it.
It is. It's about taking control
Yeah.
and making your space into something that shows who you are.
And doesn't have to be perfect.
No, not at all.
Progress is what matters.
Exactly.
It's not about having a perfectly clean house all the time. It's about making good choices that get you closer to that goal, even if it's just a little bit at a time.
Little by little.
It's about making those good habits stick and making a real change.
And maybe even while you're tackling those chores, you're also tackling other things you've been avoiding.
That's a good point.
It's not just cleaning your house.
Yeah.
It's cleaning up your mind, too.
I like that. So before we go, what's one last thought you want to leave our listeners with?
Don't underestimate the power of those little things you do every day. Every time you decide to do a chore, you're not just cleaning your house.
Uh-huh.
You're taking care of yourself. You're making your whole life better. So be kind to yourself, celebrate the little wins, and remember that you can create a home that really helps you be your best self.
That's a great way to put it. And that wraps up our deep dive into procrastination and those household chores.
It really is interesting how something we do every day can be so important.
We hope you learned some helpful things today.
Yeah, and that you feel ready to tackle those chores and anything else that comes your way.
And don't forget to check out DigyKeys.com for more resources like their Conquer Procrastination Guide.
It's full of great tips.
And be sure to subscribe to the Deep Dive for more episodes on all sorts of fascinating topics.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening.